Now, Bajaj's cruiser motorcycle, the Avenger, has always been dependent on the Pulsar family for its engines. It started with the 180, then it got the 200 oil-cooled, and now it's got the 220 from the fastest engine. This is an oil-cooled, carbureted engine, so as a result, the Avenger now has more power, more torque. But what's it like to ride? Let's take a look at our review in a nutshell. These are the facts. The 220cc motor on the Pulsar generates 21 bhp. Some retuning on the Avenger has seen output drop by 2 bhp to 19 bhp. Surprisingly, even the torque figures are down from 1.9 kgm on the Pulsar to 1.7 kgm on the Avenger. For a cruiser, torque is crucial. It creates the air of munching miles without any effort. The Avenger is also heavier than the P220. But then, taking its overall gearing in mind, we are better off comparing this to the outgoing Avenger 200. The roll-on times are better. The run from 20 km an hour to 40 km an hour in second gear takes 2.18 seconds. That's just a bit quicker than the 200. However, the third gear run from 40 to 60 takes 3.25 seconds, which is barely quicker than the outgoing 200. What disappoints is that despite the additional displacement, the Avenger fails to get a relaxed air. The run from 0 to 60 is dispatched in a respectable 4.43 seconds. But when you push further, the engine starts feeling anything but relaxed. The bike strains at speeds above 80 km an hour, and the 115 km per hour top speed is much below the Pulsar 220's mark. It also takes a lot of effort to get there, with the needle inching forward very slowly. The Avenger 220 certainly isn't happy at triple-digit speed. Its expertise becomes really quite clear with the fuel efficiency figures. At speeds between 80 to 90 km per hour on the highway, the Avenger 220 returns about 33.8 km per litre. In the city, where the bike runs at lower engine speeds while staying in its strong mid-range, the fuel efficiency jumps up to 39.5 km per litre. Quite a surprise, especially coming from what is touted as a mild muncher. As a result, the Avenger 220 doesn't impress as a highway machine. At 79,000 rupees on-road Mumbai, the Avenger 220 is more expensive by 4,000 rupees than the outgoing 200. So overall, the Avenger might not impress as a highway machine, but if you're looking for something with style to chug along in the city, then it might be right up your alley. Now, the one place where a cruiser is meant to excel is out on the highway. But strangely enough, the Avenger feels like it lacks something there. It doesn't have the refinement that you'd look for. It doesn't have the kind of easy power delivery that makes highway riding so relaxing. That's because the engine is, after all, a Pulsar engine. It's got that trashy edge, so at higher speeds, at 80 km an hour, it feels okay. At 90, it's strained, and 100 would be best avoided. But then, this engine has an upside, and that's in the city, because it's got a lot of mid-range runs, which means you just got to open the throttle even in a higher gear, and it'll shoot ahead through that gap. But what I really hope is, for the next Avenger, Bajaj gives it its very own motor, a long-stroke motor, which will do the Avenger justice out on the highway.